Hello and welcome back to Facebook Ads Mastery. I'm your instructor, Andrew Tapin. So I want to congratulate you on making it this far in the course. We've covered everything from goal setting, different campaign objectives, and the big one, audience insights and how to use that to set your target audience. Now we're going to put in place some of the targeting tactics that you need to have implemented before creating your ad. That way, once your ads are running, you're able to really gauge where the results are coming from. So the first of those is going to be setting up a custom audience. Where you're going to start doing that from is on the left hand side from your ads manager. We're going to click Audiences. That's going to take us to a page that's called Audience Manager, where we will actually set up our custom audience, lookalike audience, those things. So again, that was from the older Ads Manager. Access that from the newer Ads Manager. Again, from Tools. This time it's not going to open up a new window, but it's going to be in the same window. Click Audiences and you'll see that it's going to look pretty similar to the old version that I have in this other window that we're going to take a look at. So here we have some audiences that I have set up for some testing purposes to help you along the way. You'll notice here is that saved target group of motorcycles that we looked at in Audience Insights of 1.2 million people. Here are some other custom audiences that I have set up and so forth. So what we're going to do is actually click on Create Audience. It gives you three choices: custom audience, lookalike audience, and saved target group. So we're actually going to build a new custom audience. Here you'll see that you have a few ways to do that. If you have an existing customer list of emails that you want to target that list on Facebook, this is where you would do that. You would click customer list and it gives you the option to upload a file. And then what Facebook will do, let me close out of this real quick, I'll show you because I've tried it. Facebook will try to match those emails with Facebook users. Now what you're going to find is that not everybody uses the same email address as their Facebook login that they might when they sign up to an email list. Me personally, I have an email that I use for Facebook that's separate of anything else that I use emails for. So if somebody was looking to target me on Facebook, they would probably have a hard time if I'm on their email list because I use a different email. So you'll have to keep that in mind. Like you can see here, this email list I had uploaded, Facebook's telling me I have a really low match rate for the amount of emails that I uploaded. I tested an email list of maybe 300 to 400. It was probably around 400. They matched about 100 of those. So you definitely have to play around with that. What I mainly do is when I create a custom audience, I will actually use the website traffic option. So here you can track people who visit specific web pages but not others, and those that haven't visited in a certain amount of time. Let's say that we're running an email opt-in ad. We would probably want to set up a custom audience for people visiting specific web pages but not others. So what you'll want to do is gauge the people that maybe went to your opt-in page. So remember from the beginning, here's an opt-in page that I have set up, and so I'm wanting to gauge the people that went to that page but later I'll probably want to retarget the people that didn't actually sign up. So here I would enter the URL of the page that I'm sending them to. So let's say that, but let's say that they didn't actually sign up. So let's use the example that my thank you page is just titled /thank you. And then I typically set this, you can set this up to 180 days. And so what that means is Facebook will keep people in that custom audience for up to 180 days. And then you'll want to name it. So we'll name this test email opt-in. And that's really just for your information so you can keep track of the audience that you create. We click create audience. Okay. And then you'll now see that that email opt-in custom audience is set. But that's not all you need to do. You actually need to install a snippet of code onto your web page so Facebook knows where to get the data from. And so that code is actually called a pixel. So if you click next to that custom audience and view pixel, you're going to see some code that looks like a bunch of gibberish. If you're like me, you're not a tech person, so you see all that and you're like, what the heck is that? Well, that's what you actually need to place on the head of the website that you're wanting to track so Facebook can gather the data. And right here, Facebook tells you copy the code below and paste it between the head and your website code. If you're like me, I run most of my websites on WordPress. So in WordPress, that makes it pretty easy. I find the header of the page that I want to post it on. I just copy that and then paste it onto there. Now, possibly maybe you have an IT person that runs your websites. If you do, then you'll need to provide them with this code to put on your page so they can track the data. So once we have that done, then Facebook can kind of communicate between your website and your ad to know who's actually interacting with that opt-in page. Another big piece of information that's pretty vital, you may have this on your website already, but if you don't, when you actually read Facebook's terms of service, which I recommend everybody do, because they are very strict with the data they gather and their privacy policies and their terms of service. So when you sign up for your ad account, please read through that and abide by everything they suggest, or you run the chance of your ad account getting banned, which is never good. You'll notice at the bottom of my opt-in, I have some links: privacy policy, terms of service, a disclaimer, way users can contact me, and another disclosure. All these are necessary to abide by Facebook's terms of services. So users need to know that there's a cookie being placed on their browser whenever they go to a certain web page. Now, this is something, if you don't have it on your website already, do a Google search for privacy policy. They can be generated. I had mine automatically generated. There are free services out there. That's up to you what you want to use. But it does contain this vital information that Facebook requires. And whenever you set up an ad with a custom audience, Facebook will send their little robot to your website to see if you have those required links. If you don't, there's a chance they might ban your account right off the bat because it's directly in their terms of service. So anytime you're setting up a custom audience, that you're installing some sort of pixel code, and in the next lesson we're going to talk about conversion tracking. That's another little snippet of code that you're going to install on your website. You need to have some sort of privacy policy, terms and conditions, and disclosures on your website. That way Facebook knows that you're not trying to be sneaky with the data you're trying to collect on your users. At the end of the day, Facebook is a user-driven network, and they definitely abide by that and want to make sure that they're doing for their users what they're saying. I mean, even though they're collecting a lot of data that people probably don't know that Facebook's collecting, they did disclose that in privacy policy agreements people have agreed to. And so you need to do the same when you're abiding by Facebook ads terms of services and implementing that pixel code onto your website. So that's setting up a custom audience, and my little disclaimer on having the right disclaimers, disclosures, privacy policies on your website. So that's all the legal mumbo jumbo I'm going to throw at you in this course. And just make sure that you read that stuff and abide by it. But know that to really gauge your ads and to retarget later, which we're going to cover retargeting at the end of the course, you need to have this custom audience set up prior to even building your ad. That way you can start gathering that data on your potential customers, whether they're buying a t-shirt, going to your website to read a post, or opting into an email list. It's going to be very important that you set up a custom audience. So if you have any questions about that, definitely, as with anything in this course, feel free to send me a message. I want some interaction. I want questions. That way you're learning as much as possible, and if there's something that maybe I didn't cover as in depth as you thought, we can address that. So that's custom audience. Next, we're going to look at conversion tracking and how to get that set up, and then we'll be moving on to creating our ads, which we're all here to do. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next lecture. Bye-bye.